Welcome to From Vinyl to Streaming, Tunes Through Time with Abby and Judy. I'm Abby.
And I'm Judy.
And welcome back. We're so excited to be here.
We are so excited.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. I'm good too.
I'm really good.
Yeah.
Kind of been a boring week. So
Yeah. Boring week. Lots of car problems for me, but
why are you
that's
talking
about it.
your car problems?
Just, if you want to hear about my car problems, you can go to the 801 Diaries, the other podcast. I talk all about it over there this week. So, but mostly I had an oil change and they kept my car really long, and then they didn't do the recalls they were supposed to fix, and now I keep getting rock chips every single day. It's a whole thing, and I have to get my bumper fixed. It's a whole thing
2 rock chips
in like 3 days. So
big rock chips.
big. Yeah, they weren't even like little baby ones that you could like let go for a little bit before you get them filled. They like needed to be filled immediately because they were huge. Ginormous.
So yeah, not the best of luck this week, but it's all right.
My car is testing me, but it's okay.
It's a good car.
It's a good car. But I've only had it for a year, so for it to be causing me this much stress is...
Well, I'm glad you got your insurance renewed and everything. So.
Oh yeah, my insurance had to be renewed this month. My registration's due this month. It's a whole thing.
It is big. It's been a whole thing. It's the car month.
It is the car month. It has been the extra car month with all these extra things to do. But all good. Very good, very exciting, but not the most fun.
Yeah. It's amazing how cars can be not fun so fast.
It really is.
But we have to have them.
We do. We have to have them. But yeah. I mean, the leaves are changing here in Utah, which is really fun. So me and my roommate, we went on a drive this weekend up through the canyons, and it's so pretty. This time of year is so much fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about it. That's about all to catch up on.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
No, pretty
kind
boring.
of a boring week, but it's all right.
Yep.
It's all right.
Yes.
So
this week we thought...
Well, let's start with because if you guys have been following us, you know we went to Def Leppard.
Yes.
We love Def Leppard.
Yes.
And one thing we love about Def Leppard is that they're pretty much the original band.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one band member, Steve Clark, who died I think it was in 1990 or 91, something like that. And then they brought in this Vivian Campbell, and he's been there ever since. So he's been there since like 91, 92.
So 30 plus years.
30 plus years. So he's kind of like an original band guy, but
he's been around long enough.
He's been around long enough.
When you think of Def Leppard, he's there.
Yeah, and there was another guy that was there on their High and Dry album, and he's not there anymore, but Phil, I think his name's Phil Collins, or Phil Collin, I should say. He started in Pyromania and took his place. So 40 years of Pyromania. So we're talking almost it is pretty much the original band.
Yeah.
From the beginning. And how cool that is.
Yeah, it's pretty unique.
Because
if you think about all these bands
through the years,
very, very few have any original members.
Yeah.
Let alone mostly original members.
And then this week, REO Speedwagon
just announced
that they are no longer.
They are done.
And they cannot get it back together.
No. They have irreconcilable differences
and
they're done.
They're done. They're just done.
Which after all of these years, you would think they could just suck it up a little bit, but
no.
I guess
they can't.
They
just can't. So
So with that news of REO and us seeing Def Leppard, we were like, let's think of some bands that over the years have broken up. Maybe some got back together, some didn't. Kind of talk about it, because this is something we actually do talk about quite often.
We do, because I think it's amazing Def Leppard's done it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know of too many bands that have made it that long.
Well, and I mean, they made it through their drummer losing an arm. They've all stuck together.
Their drummer lost an arm. Steve Clark died, pretty tragically of an overdose, I think. Yeah. And then, but they still love each other. And I've heard them talk about it, and they say they just stay in their own lane. Like the drummer's the drummer, the guitarist are the guitarist, the lead singer's the lead singer. It's not like they try to step over each other and tell each other what to do or how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They just let them stay in their lane, and then they get along.
Yeah. See?
Not hard.
It's not that hard, you guys.
You know, and they're a hard rock band.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that, they'd have more problems, but
well, you'd think they would have had all the same problems that all the other ones have had.
you would think
They've managed to stay friends and seem like they enjoy each other and stay a band.
Yeah. So we wonder why. Why can't
What does Def Leppard have that the rest of these bands don't?
Like, why is it so hard not to stay in your lane?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? I don't know. So we
Mm-hmm.
decided we talk about some bands that over the years,
yeah,
that have broken up
mm-hmm.
for one reason or another.
Yeah. So, but let us know what bands you guys, know the lore of, and have their breakup has affected you in some way, because there's some on here that have violently affected me.
There's some that have me too. So,
but yeah, so because it's one of those things, most bands, they get together and at some point they're gonna break up, and it doesn't matter how good their music is.
It doesn't.
No. Okay, so the first one we wanted to talk about was the Beatles. So iconic, so incredible, and I feel like they had such an iconic downfall too. Like, everyone knows what happened.
Everybody
to the Beatles.
knows about the Beatles.
Yeah.
The Beatles, I mean, I was 2 years old when they broke up.
1970.
So I wasn't really a fan at the time, and I probably didn't know what was going on, and I'm sure my family didn't care. So I didn't really hear about the Beatles breaking up. But I have been a true Beatles fan pretty much for years. Yeah. I don't know, for years. Not
since
when I was
you could become one.
Since I could become one, once I could appreciate their music. Yeah. Let me tell you, they have tons of songs.
Such great music.
And they're just classic. Everybody knows the Beatles. Like, you just know the Beatles. Mm-hmm. Beatles mania.
No, it was so funny. I saw this TikTok yesterday, actually, and it was like the Beatles at the beginning of their career or whatever, and it was like, I want to hold your hand. Like, it was the lyrics to I want to hold your hand, and it was like at the end of the career, and it was like I'm a walrus, like, just like the shift that they made was really funny. It was really, really funny.
So obviously there was a lot of drugs involved, I'm sure, on this.
But it was funny because if you, like, they started out just like such cute, sweet lyrics, and then it was like just super weird.
Super weird, yeah.
Super weird, but still a great song.
But still, at the end, you got Yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is
such a great song.
An amazing song.
Yes.
So that was, I think, in music history, I would say that was probably a tragedy.
Yeah, I would agree. Yes. I mean, I obviously wasn't around for it, but from what I've learned and what I've seen, is it destroyed people. It was very upsetting.
Because they were still popular.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were only a band for like 7 years, something like that. Like pretty small, pretty short time, but in the grand scheme of things.
They put out so many records at that time. So, yeah, I guess their producer or manager, he quit. They were all on drugs. Let's not even mention Yoko Ono, because who knows what she did.
This is how I feel about Yoko Ono. I think she gets way too much crap. Because
I think she does too.
John Lennon let her in there. Why aren't people mad at John Lennon? Like, why are people upset at Yoko when it was John Lennon's place to kind of keep those separate? And he didn't. But he didn't. I digress. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, so we're not gonna give her credit. And they were touring all the time. Mm-hmm. They actually had to do Sgt. Pepper's because they were so bored of being the Beatles. I don't know how many people know the story of Sgt. Pepper. They actually took on the names of different characters. They became different characters because they just didn't want to be the Beatles anymore. I mean, that's how I think they were annoyed, tired, on drugs. I don't know.
Which is crazy because, again, they were only a band for, I think, 7 years.
Yeah, it wasn't
long
at all.
And that is, like, to get that burnt out, like, that quickly, like, it proves just how insane the Beatles were and how, like, just Beatlemania it was.
And they wrote their songs, too. John and Paul McCartney, they wrote most of the songs, and it's just a lot. Yeah, so, they went to I Want to Hold Your Hand, to I'm a Walrus. Nobody knows what that means.
Funny. It is so funny.
Yes.
But the Beatles are iconic.
They're iconic. So I think that was the biggest kind of heartbreaking.
Mhm. That one like shattered the world. I
It
would say
did.
like that was had a significant cultural impact. I would
Yeah.
say the breakup of the Beatles,
The
and they
Beatles.
never got back together.
They never did. Okay,
sad.
but I want to ask you a question here
Mm-hmm.
because this is something I find very interesting when it comes to people breaking up.
Okay.
How did it affect their later on careers?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because Paul McCartney with Wings, he did Paul McCartney and Wings after, and they were pretty successful. Him and his wife at the time, she died, but what was her name? Linda McCartney, I think it was.
I don't know.
Yeah, so they started Wings, and I think they did really well, but I didn't really like Wings.
There you go.
I really liked the Beatles, but I didn't really like Paul McCartney and Wings.
Mm-hmm.
They had some good hits. People liked them. They were well known.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me on that one. I just didn't like them that much. But John Lennon, on the other hand, he probably didn't do as much after, but what he did was good.
Yeah, I feel like for their solo music, I know John Lennon's the best for sure.
For sure.
And well, I mean,
I don't know him and Paul McCartney. I mean, Paul McCartney worked really hard after the Beatles.
Yeah,
with Wings. I mean, it was a big.
I'd have to look at their catalog to see.
And John Lennon kind of just did a couple.
But he had Imagine. I mean, that's like one of the biggest songs ever. Like
it's huge.
He may not have had as much work out there, but I would say his was bigger.
You know, I will have to agree with you.
Because I mean,
on that one,
Imagine is kind of a joke now, thanks to all the celebrities. But I mean, that song, everyone knows.
Everyone knows it, and you know,
he also had less time.
Or not, yeah, he did have less time. I just think he was still better.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree with you. I think he's better. I mean, like
as
genuinely,
a solo artist, yeah.
The only Paul McCartney song I know that I can think of off the top of my head was 4 or 5 Seconds with Kanye and Rihanna.
Oh, really?
But I don't know. I'm sure I know some of the Wings songs.
I wish I would have looked them up because I really don't know the names of the Wings. There are some really popular, real famous ones. I don't know who they are because I didn't really like them. Yeah. So I didn't really pay attention. No. And then, like, just today, they announced that Ringo Starr has to cancel a couple of his last shows because he's sick. Oh. But whoever hears about him.
See, that's the thing. Ringo and George. I mean, I know their names because I made a point to know the other Beatles. But
that's it.
But other than that, I don't think I would have known who the other two were.
Yeah, I think George Harrison had a little bit of success on his own. But
I think when you're in a band that big, if you do anything, you're going to have at least a little bit of success.
Yeah.
We could talk about One Direction. Well, we'll talk about One Direction.
We will talk about One Direction.
Same kind of a thing. Like, I don't think you can be that famous without it lingering a little bit.
More for you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So I just, like, that's one of the things I kind of want to talk about on these, like, how did it affect them if they went solo, if they just disappeared. If they just disappeared, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So let's move on from...
Next.
This is so funny. Abby and I put our list together separately, but I think our lists are pretty much in order.
Pretty much exactly the same.
So let's talk about the Police.
Okay, let's do it. So the Police, lead singer was Sting.
Yeah.
That is the only band member I could tell you.
There's Stuart Copeland was the drummer and Summer. I can't remember.
High School Musical?
No. His last name was Summer. Look him up real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to make her look him up.
But the Police, they had so many incredible hits.
In the 80s,
they had some, like, just banger after banger.
And, like...
Andy Summers,
that's correct. I just think it's funny because, like, their song, Roxanne, I just think it's the dumbest song. But I was watching Friends the other day, and there was this one where, Ross can get us a ticket. It was to a Sting concert.
That episode's so funny because... what's his name? Ben goes to school with Sting's son. Yeah. But they don't get along. That's such a funny episode.
Yeah, it was a funny episode. So it's just funny that their songs they're just iconic.
Yeah, I feel like they're one that like really infiltrated like media, like the Friends episode, or I just feel like the Police were like, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I wasn't alive in the 80s, but to me, they aren't like that big of a band. Like they were a big band,
huge.
but like, I don't know. To me, I wasn't the biggest Police fan in the whole entire world, but I feel like they pop up everywhere. Like the
Me
Police
too.
are just everywhere.
Every breath you take
Every
is
breath
like
you
the
take.
biggest stalker
Song
in
the
the
whole
world.
entire world. Message in a Bottle. It's a
Message
great
in a
song.
Bottle. Don't stand so close to me.
That's on Friends too.
Oh, my
That's
favorite one.
It's the Thanksgiving one when he has VD. And they think he has VD.
Yes,
Oh,
and then
it's
there's
so
that
funny.
one where they're saying words and they're like, that's all it means to me.
Do da da da. It's all I want to say to you.
That one's a great
That's a good
song.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got King of Pain. That was a really good song.
I don't know if I know that one.
You'll have to see that one. That one's a fun one. And they had some really good songs. And then they broke up.
Yeah. According to my notes, they broke up in 1986 due to tensions between Sting and the other members.
Which I understand because let's think about it. Sting, other members.
Sting, a name. Other members.
Other members. And that's kind of what it was in the 80s. I mean, they were a group and you knew them as a group, but it was Sting.
Yeah.
It was really Sting.
I mean, again, he's the only one I know from the Police. And I know because you're pretty big, or I don't know. You like his solo music.
Sting. I love Sting.
And
I love the Police too. And I actually, they did reunite a few years ago.
Okay.
And I went to their concert. Timo and I went to
Really?
their concert. We did. And it was so funny because the drummer, I thought he was going to have a stroke. He just looked like
he'd been through it.
He had been through it. I think he still drums, but he looked like he was just tired.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of funny.
That is so
and
funny.
they just sang all these Police songs. It was really fun. But then they broke up again.
Yeah. But I mean, one thing I think is interesting is they broke up in 1986. Like that was like they put out a lot of music together, like iconic music. In a pretty short amount of time, I would say.
I think they probably started at the end of 70s.
Yeah.
And then they 86.
Yeah.
So they broke up right after their big hits, during the MTV days.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
their songs are iconic.
They really do. They have some really good songs.
And I still love them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I still go to I like to go to Sting concerts because they do. He sings a lot of the Police songs. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So we're going to see him. I've never seen him before. We're going to see him in
You're
November.
going to love him.
I'm really excited because there are so many good songs. And like his solo stuff is really good too. So
really good.
So it'll be fun. I'm excited.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
You're going to love it.
I'm really excited.
And you'll
really
probably sing King of Pain and you'll be like, oh.
I probably know it. To be honest, I probably know it. I just can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah. I'll have to play it for you after.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the next one on your list,
Abby? So the next one I have is ABBA. And this one I think is fun because when we were in Sweden this last spring, we went to the ABBA museum because they're from Sweden. And we learned so much.
So much about
ABBA. But it was so much fun because obviously Mamma Mia is iconic and everyone knows Mamma Mia. But there was so much more to, the movie, the album, all of it. Like, there was so much more to ABBA. Like, I did not know they were two couples. Like,
oh, really?
I had no idea until we went, and then come to find out, that's why they broke up.
They got divorced.
That'll break up the band really fast.
That will do it.
But ABBA is so good. They've got so many good songs.
They have so many good songs, and they're iconic. You know an ABBA song when you hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. That is an ABBA song.
That is an ABBA song. And I didn't realize they won Eurovision either.
I didn't realize that either.
Which was another thing we learned. They won Eurovision with Waterloo.
Yeah, Waterloo is
a fun song.
Yeah. And then there's a song I found out while we were there called Winner Takes It All. And it's kind of about the one guy, I don't know his name. He wrote it about his ex-wife that was the lead singer. And he made her sing the song.
Oh,
it's kind of funny. It was a big hit, but he made his ex-wife
sing this song. Winner Takes It All.
Winner Takes It All.
That's so funny.
It was hilarious. So,
but yeah, I mean, they tried for a little bit. I think after the breakups happened, but I don't think a band can sustain.
It's kind of hard
that long.
Yeah,
after something like that,
but see, they are also a band that broke up, and you haven't really heard much about any of the people.
No, I think I learned this at the museum. I think the men went and did like it was either like a soundtrack or it might have been a musical. Like they did something together after, but it wasn't like super successful. Like, and
Yeah.
I think the girls tried to have solo careers
Yeah.
each, but it just never really
It just wasn't
took
the
off.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's one. I wish they would. I wish they would just have like a farewell concert,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or just like one, you know, even like a one night only kind of a concert where they, you know, put aside their differences and just sing all the hits.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That
a
would
couple
be
years
fun.
ago, they for like the 60th anniversary or 50th anniversary, something like that. They did like like what are those called? Like projections? What are
Yeah.
those called? Like
I always forget what they're called too.
I can't think of it. But
what
like
is it called? Oh, it's
I
driving me
know.
nuts. Oh, sorry, people.
But I can't remember. But where they were like projections of them when they were younger performing
Holograms.
Holograms. That's what it is.
Holograms.
Yeah, where they were performing from when they were younger, and like they got together and like you know took pictures and stuff together. So I think if they, I mean, honestly, probably what it is now is they probably just can't sing very well anymore. They're probably a little old, which
Probably.
is fair. But they're so good. They have so many iconic songs, so many fun songs.
So many fun songs.
Yeah, such a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay.
Rip ABBA.
Rip ABBA. Big rip.
They're so good.
They are so good.
Ugh.
They are so good.
That's so frustrating. Don't they know how it hurts us?
I know. Like, can't they just love each other for us?
I know. Can't they just get along?
Honestly.
I mean, honestly. Who cares if you're divorced?
I
We
know.
still love you.
I know.
We didn't divorce you.
We had no part in this. Don't
I
make
don't
it.
know.
Don't punish us
Don't punish us.
for
It's
something
just
we weren't involved in.
crazy. All right.
Okay.
So our next one is another heartbreaker in the 70s.
Yes.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, this is one that I would kill to see them in concert. Like,
I know.
they are so good. They are so good, and they
They are
have
so
so
good.
many good songs. And they just can't get along, and it breaks my heart.
You know, and they were childhood friends.
Breaks my heart.
Why can't they get along?
I know. But
I
yeah,
don't
they
know.
split in 1970. So
A long time ago.
Long time
I think
ago.
they've kind of come back together here and there. Like they did that big concert in Central Park. And they've had moments, and then they have moments where like there's no way we'll ever be in the same room with each other. So you just never know with them.
I know. Well, what I think is funny is I'm sure part of their arguments came from money. But do you know how much money they would make if they just got along?
Yeah.
That's what I don't get. Is like I feel like you would make so much more money if you just got along and would tour or like do things together as a band.
I think one of the problems was they recorded an album, and then Art Garfunkel started being in movies. And Paul Simon was like, no, we got to get our next album out. And he's like, well, I got to finish this movie. And he's like,
his attention was divided.
his attention started getting divided.
There you go.
So then they started fighting over that. And then there was just a lot. I don't know. They just hate each other.
Didn't they like soundtrack a movie? Wasn't there a movie that came out that was all their music?
They had
like The Sound of Silence is from that.
Yeah, what's that? It was about the kid that falls in love with the older woman. His best friend's mom. What is that show? Oh, dang, I know that show too.
That's so
and
funny.
it's like it's the name of their song.
Oh, Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah,
Mrs.
Mrs.
Robinson.
Robinson.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. I was gonna say I feel like they had a movie.
I don't
That's
know if
what
it was
it is.
called Mrs. Robinson,
I think
but that's what
it is.
That's what had Dustin Hoffman in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so much good music from that movie. Questionable on the message, but incredible music from that movie.
Yeah. So with them though, going solo. Paul Simon had.
I was gonna say I feel like I've heard of Paul Simon. I haven't really heard of Art Garfunkel. Like I know who he is in the context of Simon and Garfunkel, but outside of that,
I know he's had some solo career, and Paul Simon did too. I think Paul Simon was a little more one that you'd hear on the radio more, but they definitely need each other.
Yeah, I would agree. I would absolutely agree.
When Paul Simon sings 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, it just isn't Bridge Over Troubled Water.
I forgot about that.
It's just not the same.
No.
And there's some songs he has that they're okay, but
it's just not the same.
Yeah, and you hear Art Garfunkel sing like Bridge Over Troubled Water, like he's
Mhm.
the main singer in that. And without Paul Simon there,
There's just
it's just
something missing.
it's missing,
Yeah.
and it's really sad.
Mhm.
So another, I mean, I think they're still alive.
I think they're both still alive. Yeah.
You know, there's still time.
Please. You would make my dreams come true if you went on
I know.
tour. Like genuinely, that's probably like a top 5 concert
Yeah.
I'll never get to see kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Because they're so good.
They
have
are
so many good songs.
so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
they're good.
Yep.
Reminds me of someone else
Oh man.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, classics. We're begging.
We are begging.
We're begging.
Please.
One concert.
Please.
One concert
concert
that we can go to.
we can go to. It doesn't have to be in Salt Lake. It could be in Vegas. We'll
Okay.
come to Vegas.
If you want to go to Sweden, I'll be there.
We'll go to Sweden.
We'll go there. We're
you and ABBA team up.
Yeah.
Dual concert.
You know how much money they would raise for that?
They can make so much money. They could make so much money.
They could sell out stadiums easily.
Heard
easily.
it here first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we should get that going.
I think we should too.
Yeah. So, what's your next one?
Okay, so my next one is kind of funny. Mine's My Chemical Romance, which if you know the My Chemical Romance lore, it is the reason we have Twilight, which is also the reason why there's a great big
I have no idea about this.
There's a time like an invisible string from 9/11 to the downfall of Ellen, but My Chemical Romance plays a very small part of that. So they became a band after 9/11, unfortunately. The lead singer, the main guy, I can't think of his name. It might come to me. But he was so upset, obviously, by the events of 9/11 that he formed this band, My Chemical Romance. And it was a great big deal. People loved My Chemical Romance. Guess who was absolutely inspired by My Chemical Romance and fell in love? Gerald something is his name. The guy, his name's Gerald something. Stephanie Meyer for Twilight. Twilight is like a fan fiction based off of My Chemical Romance, this main guy.
She wrote the book because of it?
Yeah, she was inspired.
By him?
By him. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a dream.
Nope. Well,
kind of.
Kind of. It was a My Chemical Romance inspired dream, I think. But so, anyways, we have Twilight thanks to My Chemical Romance, which we are also very grateful for.
We should listen more of them.
We should.
We're gonna have dreams like that.
I
with
know.
Vampires.
I know. But they broke up in 2013.
No.
And then they got back together in 2019, but it was this great big secret. But 2019 was around the same time the Jonas Brothers got back together, which we will talk about later. And in an interview, Joe Jonas just starts talking about how he was hearing My Chemical Romance practicing in the booth next door to him. They had not announced that they were coming back. It was a whole thing. He gave it away. It was a whole thing. It was so funny. So we also have the return of My Chemical Romance thanks to Joe Jonas. So
thank you, Joe.
So that's all I have to say about My Chemical Romance. It's really funny.
I'm not sure who they are. I bet if I hear
it's like punk, like emo music.
Oh, so that's probably why I don't
not
know.
Really
my thing.
Not really your thing. But
hey.
You know?
You never know.
We have Twilight thanks to it. And Joe Jonas spilled the beans on that one, which is pretty funny. Everyone's like, why did you hear, like, what, you can't be talking about My Chemical Romance because they're broken up. He was like, no, they were just practicing next door to us. It was crazy. It was so funny. It was so funny.
Hilarious.
So we love Joe Jonas.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was really funny. But so they're back together. My Chemical Romance is back together now.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you have new music or anything?
I think so. I don't know. I'm not a big fan, but the lore is funny.
The lore is funny.
Yeah. Okay, what's your next one?
My next one is Van Halen.
Oh, yes, Van Halen. I know Jump.
Yeah.
And that might be it for Van Halen. But I do know who Eddie Van Halen is, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Everybody knows Eddie Van Halen.
Yes.
He was a classic.
Yeah, he's an icon.
But do you know David Lee Roth?
Sounds familiar.
He's the one that sings Jump.
Oh. Because Van Halen was a guitarist, wasn't he?
Van Halen, and then his brother. I should write these things down because I know what their names are. His brother is also the drummer. So he's a Van Halen also.
That makes sense then. Because I was going to say, why did Eddie get to name the band after himself?
So
but if there were two of them.
Yeah, they both started it together.
I'll look it up.
So that's why it's Van Halen.
That makes sense.
And that is, I think, really their last name.
I think so.
What is his name?
Alex Van Halen?
Yeah, Alex Van Halen. He was the drummer.
Yep. And then Eddie.
And then there was, what's the other guy's name?
Sammy Hagar?
No.
Mark Stone?
No. See, they've been having so many people.
See?
Their bass guitarist was named.
It says Mark Stone.
No.
From 72 to 74.
No.
Oh, Michael Anthony?
Michael Anthony. So there was Michael Anthony, Alex Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen, and David Lee Roth.
Okay.
They were it. And David Lee Roth, I think, was quite... He's got quite the personality.
Okay.
Like, only David Lee Roth probably could sing, jump, and get away with it. So he had a big personality. Personality.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Van Halen was the main guy. I mean, he can play guitar like none other.
Really, really good, yeah.
He's really, really, really good. But I think they kind of clashed. They kind of didn't like each other. They kind of had
Tale as old as time.
Yes. I think David Lee Roth wanted to do some solo stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
So he did some solo stuff in the 80s. So then they brought on Sammy Hagar.
Okay.
And Sammy Hagar had some really good hits. Dreams, I think it's called. That one, Walking In. I can't remember how it goes. They had a couple of really good hits, but then they kind of fired him without letting him know.
Ooh.
And I think they brought David back.
Ooh.
Yeah. T. It was not good. I was listening to Sammy Hagar talk about it the other day, and he was just like,
a little salty.
yeah, it was. Yeah, he's like, it was pretty hard to get along with Eddie Van Halen because he was really on drugs and stuff, and he was really out of it back then.
I can imagine.
So bad.
I can imagine it was difficult.
It was very difficult, but he's like, but then I found out I was out, and I was like,
I didn't have to deal with him anymore.
I have to deal with them. I think so. I think then David Lee Roth came back. And they went on tour, but then they got rid of not Alex, the other guy, Michael
Anthony.
Yeah, they got rid of him and brought in Wolfgang Van Halen.
Yes.
Which
Eddie's son,
which is good, but let's face it, Michael Anthony was the bass guitarist.
Yeah.
For a very long time.
Yeah. You just don't. And Wolf was only like 15 at the time. Like, he wasn't even very old. Yikes.
So, and then I think after that, they were just like,
we're done.
We're over.
There you go.
But they were, they had some really good music. They had some really good music before. That was the 1984 album, was Jump. But they had Pretty Woman. That's a really good song.
Hot for Teacher.
Nah. That's not one of their better ones.
Can't Stop Loving You.
Yeah. Oh,
Panama.
And then Dreams. And what was that one?
Why Can't This Be Love?
Yeah, Why Can't This Be Love? Oh, When It's Love. That was a good one. That was Sammy Hagar, was When It's Love. Why Can't This Be Love? And yeah,
they had a lot of good songs.
They had a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
I liked them. I thought they were great.
Yeah.
I liked them with David Lee Roth. I was like weirded out when they brought on Sammy Hagar because Sammy Hagar was kind of a solo. I mean, he was Sammy Hagar. Like, why did he need?
He had a name for himself already.
Yeah. So he can't drive 55. So.
Dang it.
So I don't know. I thought that was weird, but I thought it worked.
Yeah.
It worked differently, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of sad about them. They're never going to tour again, obviously, without Eddie. But
yeah, I mean, they couldn't.
And David Lee Roth, without his long hair, he's nothing.
No,
just kidding.
He's nothing.
I don't know. He just looks old now.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Van Halen.
Yeah.
Drugs will do it every time.
Yes, they will.
Stay off drugs
every time. Okay, the next one I had on my list was Fun, which was an iconic band for a minute there. They had a couple really good songs. They had Some Nights. They had some other ones that I can't think of right now. But this band is funny to me because, well, the lead singer, Nate Ruse, he was a chronic Grammy chaser, they call him. Like, he's bounced from band to band to band to band, kind of chasing a Grammy. But the lesser-known band member of Fun was Jack Antonoff, who is one of Taylor Swift's producers. He works and writers, works a lot with Taylor Swift. He's in a different band now called The Bleachers. They're actually really good. But he writes, like, all of Taylor Swift songs with her. And,
really?
like, produces them with her. So it's kind of funny.
Who knew?
It's that was him before.
I don't remember too many songs from Fun, but I did like that song that he sang with Pink. Was it Pink?
Just Give Me a Reason.
And I thought it was kind of interesting because Pink has a really strong voice.
Yeah.
Not a big fan. You know, it's a woman thing. I don't like women singers. But and he's kind of small and little.
Yeah.
But he could keep up with her.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I was pretty impressed. I liked him.
Yeah. No, he's a good singer. But but it was kind of funny, fun. If you look back, you're like, oh my heck, that's Jack Antonoff. There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Nobody knew that at the time.
Who would have knew what he would have became? Kind of crazy.
I know. Now he's just Taylor Swift's person.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's like the one that everyone's like, you need to stop working with Jack Antonoff because all of your songs are starting to sound the same because you only work with Jack Antonoff.
It's true.
So hopefully we get some new producers for her next album, but he is very good. We like him a lot. But yeah, it's just kind of funny. He was originally in Fun. Now he's in the Bleachers. There you go.
It's too bad.
I know. But yeah, so they're done, which is kind of sad. They did have some good songs. Carry On. That was the other one.
Okay,
that was the other one. I was gonna say that. I knew there was one that started with the C. But Fun had some good songs. They really did have like a moment, like 2010 to 2014-ish, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. They were just releasing song after song that were really good. So
I think I was having kids at the time.
Yeah, well, you were having elementary school / teenagers,
so I just wasn't.
Yeah, but you liked Fun. Yeah, the songs you knew.
Carry On, I really liked. Yeah, that was really good. I liked him. I think he's a really good singer. Yeah.
He's a very unique singer.
Very unique. Good. His voice is very unique, and I like it.
Yeah,
I like those unique singer voices.
But yeah, so R.I.P. Fun.
Rest in peace.
Yes. Okay, who's next on your list?
Mine is a classic.
Okay.
One Abby loves more than anything.
Okay.
Wham. Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
That song is good. I'll give Wham that one singular song. And that song is good solely because it's in Zoolander and it's hilarious in Zoolander. And that's the only reason I like that song. I do not like George Michael. And
I love George Michael.
In Carrying On would be Wham, expanding upon George Michael because obviously he was the lead singer. But yeah, just not a George Michael fan.
What's the other guy's name? His name was Andrew something.
On Wham?
I don't know why.
In Wham?
Yeah. I should write these things down. I should really be there on this, but I don't know. Andrew. Ridgely. Yeah.
I think is his name.
Yeah. The story of Wham is such a cute story.
I don't know it. Tell it.
It's so sweet. Like they met in
maybe I do.
In either junior high or elementary. And George Michael is this shy fat kid, which is hard to believe. And Andrew was this really outgoing, kind of a popular wild child kind of a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he was assigned to be the friend of George Michael when he moved into their school.
Okay.
So he was like assigned to him, and they just became best friends. Like
Cute.
The bestest friends.
That's sweet. And
then they started writing songs. And they formed this band, and then like one of their friends from school's dad was a producer, and he produced some of their songs. And so when you think of Wham, like when they were like in their early 20s, you know, like Andrew, he was just this wild child, kind of like he was just having fun. He was there, you know, and George Michael, I think really got serious about it. Like he really loved writing music, and he outgrew Andrew. Because Andrew just kind of played his guitar and was in the back. Yeah. And George Michael was writing the songs and singing it. And he was out there. And he actually outgrew him, like, musically. Like, he just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And so they decided to go on their separate ways, which is they both agreed on it. And then it's so sad because he's like George Michael said the first time that that he played without Andrew, he kept looking back and he was like felt really self-conscious and felt weird because he always had his best friend there kind of supporting him.
Aww,
I know.
that's
And he
sweet.
just and he was really sad about it that he didn't have his best friend there.
That's really sad.
But they stayed true.
Yeah.
They were still friends. Like
Which
it
is-
was not a bad breakup. It was just a reality.
Yeah.
This
And
is what's going to happen.
That's what you'd hope for in that kind of
Yeah.
situation. Because, I mean, obviously it means different things to different people. So if one's really into it, the other's not, it's best for them to kind of
I
move
think
on.
he was just kind of riding on George Michael's tails and he felt awkward. I think he was known for that. Like,
Yeah.
So they broke up. And of course, George Michael had a very good, successful career after. And Andrew, he married a Spice Girl, I think. Wait,
really?
I don't know if it's Spice Girl or a Bananarama. I think it was Bananarama Girl.
Let me look it up.
A Bananarama.
A Bananarama?
Yeah, that's who he married.
Karen Woodward? Yeah, Bananarama singer. Oh, but they got divorced in 2017. They broke up. I don't know if they were
Maybe they were never married.
But yeah, they broke up in 2017.
They broke up. So I think he's just done whatever. It's funny because you see him now and he looks like this distinguished English gentleman. Mm-hmm. But when he talks, he was like the wild child of the group. Like he was just really into
there for a good time.
There for a good time. So
that's funny.
Yeah. So that one's sad. And of course, that's never going to get back together because
R.I.P. George Michael.
And he had a lot of controversy after he left too. I think he just didn't know how to control himself.
Andrew?
No.
Or George?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had his Faith album was really good. I really like his Faith.
He had some hits.
And he has really, like him and Aretha Franklin, they have that song. I never remember anything. I should write everything down. But, I mean, his soul music, he's so good at it. Yeah. I just think he was very talented in many, many ways.
Yeah. I mean, he was obviously very, very talented because he was very successful. Not my thing, but
I know.
I'm really happy that you like him a lot.
And I didn't even like Wham when they first came out. When I heard Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, there's a funny story to that because George Michael was staying at Andrew's house. And when he got up or something, I guess his mom, Andrew's mom wrote a note no, he wrote his mom a note saying, "Wake me up before you go." And they just made a song out of it. It was just a note.
That's funny.
It's pretty funny.
That is funny.
So, but I didn't like that song, but now I love it. Yeah. Back then I was like, I was kind of slow to get around to him. It took the Edge of Heaven. I really like the song Edge of Heaven. I think it was from their second album. That's when I'm like, okay, I'm on the Wham train. So
that's good.
Yeah. So yeah.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's too bad.
I know.
But I'm glad they were able to stay friends.
They were.
That's what you want.
It's pretty cool that they were able to do that. There wasn't jealousy or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Alrighty. The next one we've touched on a little bit. Is the Jonas Brothers. So the Jonas Brothers, they formed, and I want to say like 2006, 2007, when they were little. Like Nick was like 11 or 12, I think. And then, I mean, that would have put Kevin at like 16, something like that. So like from 11 to like 16, these young little kids. And then
so cute.
They were so cute. They, did their whole Disney thing. And then, unfortunately, in 2013, tragedy struck. And Nick said, "I'm done," and left. And they broke up the band. And it was really sad.
Not only that, you know what happened? Nick and Joe would play together sometimes.
So sad. It happened once.
And they would play the Jonas Brothers songs without Kevin.
It happened once. It was so like this really just breaks my heart for Kevin because I love Kevin. So do I. But it was like, it wasn't too long after they broke up. They were playing this, like, they had both released, like, solo music. And so they were going to be, like, playing this set where they told Kevin they were just playing solo music. And then a lot of it was Jonas Brothers music and Kevin wasn't there. And that really breaks my heart. It makes me so sad for Kevin.
I know. It
Makes
breaks
me
my
so
heart.
sad.
And they told him that his guitar skills wasn't up to what they were.
Well, no, they said he was holding them back, which
Yeah.
is so sad. But they worked through it, and they're okay
They worked
now.
through it, and they were on Dr. Phil. He helped them.
Mhm.
And that's all that matters.
Yes. But in 2019, they came back. They dropped Sucker, broke the internet.
Awesome.
So good. And we've been to see them
three times since they've gotten back together.
I love the Jonas Brothers so much. And you know what? Kevin is the best one out of all of them. He is living the dream, and I just love that for him. And justice for Kevin
too.
Justice for Kevin, because he's so good.
He's got the best wife.
Yeah. Well, they got married when he was 21, I think.
Yeah, they were really young.
Like, really young. And, I mean, that was, like, at the peak of their success.
Yeah.
He gets married.
And they're still married. They have 2 cute kids.
Cutest little girls in the world.
And now he does claim to fame with, what's his
name?
Franklin. Little Franklin.
Yeah.
Jonas
bonus Jonas. But you don't say that to him.
You don't say it. I guess that hurt his feelings.
But no, it was funny. Me and my roommate were watching, like Disney Channel Halloween episodes the other day, because there's a couple of them from the Disney shows they had Halloween episodes. And we watched the one for the Jonas show, Jonas LA. And
I forgot about that show. It was
the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
But it was just so funny, because it was just such, like, iconic to that time period. Like, just all of them. It was so good. But I was a huge Jonas Brothers fan back in the day. Huge Jonas Brothers fan nowadays. We love them so very much. So we were so glad to see them back together, and that they worked through all their issues, because it makes me sad when they are fighting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. We love the Jonas Brothers.
We love the Jonas Brothers. They're so fun.
Fun to
like,
watch, yeah.
So genuinely just so much fun. Like, their concerts are just such a good time. But
yes.
We love the Jonas Brothers.
They have this new song called Little Bird. Is that what it's called? And they bring someone up on stage that's, I don't know. They just pick somebody from the audience. Like, usually they'll have a sign.
They pick someone from the audience that has, like, something to do with kids. Like, at one concert I went to, like, Joe called this girl's husband to tell him they were having a kid. Like, it was really cute. It was really sweet.
Cute.
It was really sweet.
It's
yeah.
Cute. And there was the one here in Utah. She had lost a baby. Like, she had miscarried a lot of kids or something. But they cry every time.
It was so sweet.
Kevin wrote it because, I don't know.
His girls.
It's not holding them back now. That's a really good song.
It is such a good song.
Yeah, he wrote it for his daughters. And it is like one of those.
It's really cute. Well, it's sweet because he has a tattoo.
Sweet.
He has tattoos on his arms of birds. That, like, he got one for each of his girls, and so he wrote this song, and it's so sweet.
Yeah,
it is so sweet.
Kind of like about when they get married and stuff. How he's gonna have to let him go.
Yeah, they gotta fly the nest.
They gotta fly in the nest. It's so cute. But they all have daughters now, so they were all like
just
bawling. They just bawled.
It was so sweet. This concert, it was really sweet. Like, I think it might have been like the anniversary or like of when the baby was due, things like that. Something happened, something towards this miscarriage.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking. It was really sad. But they like had to start it over and everything. It was.
I know, they had a hard time. Sad. It was so cute. It was so sweet.
But they're all just good little dads now.
Love them.
I just love them.
Yeah. Joe needs to get remarried.
Joe needs to get it together a little bit. But that's okay. I love you, Joe.
I still love you, Joe.
If you need someone to help you get it together, I love you. But we love the Jonas Brothers. They're just iconic.
They're good.
If you ever just need a smile, watch Camp Rock.
Oh yeah.
Camp Rock is so good.
I mean,
just the what did he say? Like, I can't remember when he's in the car. Something about Shane Gray. He says his name, and it's hilarious. That movie is so funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
My favorite song is Love Bug. I love Love Bug.
Written about the one and only Miley Cyrus.
I know.
Which is so funny.
They always have like fire go off during it and stuff. I just love
that
song.
when the beat drops in that song, I swear, we're transported to another dimension.
It's so good.
So good. So good.
Love them.
Love the Jonas Brothers. But yeah, so very happy they are back together because they were an iconic part of my childhood.
And honestly, their solo careers.
Yeah. Well, so Nick did like Nick Jonas solo music, but Joe he formed a new band, and I mean, they were both pretty successful, to be honest, but they're just not the Jonas Brothers. They need each other. They need each other.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
okay, let's do one more.
One more. Then we're gonna do the latest and greatest breakup. Hall & Oates.
So
sad.
We went and saw Hall & Oates
years ago.
I think I was 15, so 2016.
Yeah, something like that.
And it was Hall & Oates and it was Train. It was like kind of a random pairing, but such an incredible concert.
Such a great concert.
They were so good. But Hall & Oates is so good. They just have so many they're just iconic.
They're iconic, and they just broke up, and I think it's John Oates is suing Hall.
You know, again, they've been a band for 40 years.
I mean, they're early 70s.
Yeah. Okay, so 50 years.
They were college friends.
Wow. Just
get together.
Just get over it. You're fine.
Just get over it. And I don't know. It just bugs me.
Yeah, it bugs me too, because I just don't see the point. I don't see what can be so detrimental that they can't get on stage and sing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have to be the best of friends behind closed doors, but professionally, get it together.
They said they haven't even really talked in 20 years. They'll go on stage, they'll do their thing and leave.
Yeah.
How stupid.
So stupid.
Just enjoy. Can I just say one more though?
Yes.
And this isn't really a broken up band, but kind of.
Okay.
Journey.
Yeah.
So Journey.
There was a breakup. There was a big breakup there.
There was, and we all love Steve Perry.
Yes. And if you ask me, someone who was not alive during that, Steve Perry is Journey. I know Neil Sean wants to say he's Journey. Steve Perry was Journey.
Yeah.
Steve Perry was Journey.
He thinks he's Journey though.
Yeah.
Neil Sean. I mean, I know he started the band.
He's not the most talented.
He's not the most. Well, he's a pretty good guitarist. I'm not going to deny him that.
But there's plenty of great guitarists.
But let me tell you, he could be replaced.
There's only one Steve Perry.
There's only one Steve Perry. And they've been having a lot of troubles lately. Steve Perry and Jonathan Cain, they've been suing back and forth. And then just recently, this is really sad. I don't know if you've heard. Arnell, the lead singer now that tries to sound like Steve Perry all the time. Even though I hated him at first, he grew on me.
We saw him not too long ago. He was
but
great.
he did a concert I think it was last Saturday, and it was bad. His voice was really bad.
No.
And he made a public statement saying, if you want me to leave Journey, I will leave Journey.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
I know. And I just think Journey needs to get it together.
I do too. This is what I think. I think everyone needs to leave Neil Sean. He can keep the Journey name.
Keep him.
They form a new band, call it Destination.
Yeah.
And Steve Perry, Arnell can be there. I don't care. What's the other guy?
Jonathan Cain.
Jonathan Cain. They all form a new band and they tour. I think that would be so much more successful. No one cares about Neil Sean.
Nobody does.
They just do it. Call it Destination. You can take that from me.
I know. You could say it's not the journey, it's the destination.
I think that's hilarious.
That would be the best.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to us, Jonathan Cain, Steve Perry, even Arnell. We'll take Arnell.
We'll take Arnell too.
He can sing back up for Steve Perry.
Absolutely.
Ross Valerie.
Yes.
Steve Smith, their old drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Any of you guys are listening.
Reform
without Neil Sean.
Yes.
Because he is driving me insane.
You know, when everyone has issues with one person, I think that one person is the problem.
Yes. And I understand probably in the 80s, Steve Perry was hard.
Yes. Well, I'm sure they were all a little bit of drama queens. When you're that famous, I think everyone gets a big head.
But come on.
Get it together.
Get it together. And if Neil Sean can't get it together, if he has to have that big head with that stupid wife of his,
kick him out.
Just kick him out.
Form your own band.
Form a new band. Mm-hmm. I mean, Jonathan Cain and Steve Perry has almost all the rights to the Journey songs because they mostly wrote them.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Yeah, they wrote all the good ones.
You're gonna be in court anyways with Neil Sean.
Yeah,
you might as well go in court and
make some money on
it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So yeah, come on. The destination. I
think that's hilarious. I think that is so funny.
It's awesome.
I think that is so funny.
So yeah, that's it. There's so many more. We
might
have to do a
part two because we never did get to One Direction.
We never did. And there was Eagles.
There was Eagles. I know. I was Cars, Genesis.
New Kids on the Block.
New Kids on the Block. There's so many more bands we can talk about. So we'll probably have to do a part two. about this sometime because this is fun.
I know.
But
and if you need help, talk to Def Leppard. They'll tell you how to do it.
They've somehow managed to keep it together. I don't know what everyone's problem is.
I don't either.
But especially the ones who are breaking up now. Like, it's been
come
long
on.
enough. You're fine. You're fine.
The egos. And let me tell you, most of them, not the same.
No.
Without the band.
Yeah. Yep.
Or the group. So learn from other people. You're
so,
nothing without your band.
You're nothing without them. So if there's anyone we didn't mention today that you think of, let us know because we just listed off like 10 that we didn't include. Yeah. Because there's so many. So we want to hear from you guys what you guys think of when you think of bands who've broken up. So yeah, but that's it for this week.
All right.
Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on our socials and on our streaming platforms. It's just From Vinyl to Streaming. And that's it. We'll see you next week.
We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.